Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new edition of the Hypnerotomachia Poliphili by Colonna, Francesco Colonna. This is a new edition by Black Letter Press. It's in 2 volumes. You get the Latin facsimile and then a translation in English, which is actually transcribed with a modern typography. And folks, this is not going to be a review. To be clear, specialists have attempted to understand what's going on in these pages for a very long time, a very, very, very long time. It's full of emblems and very curious little works of art, little illustrations, some clearly symbolic, but what exactly they're symbolizing. You would need to spend a lot of time, a lot of time specializing only in this, and I have just received these books. So no, I won't be doing a review. I won't be giving you my ideas about what I think this is all about. I really like Paul Summers Young, his introduction over here, which basically says, read it as a story first and foremost. If you then decide that you want to read a little bit more into the symbols, try to get some understanding into the hidden meanings that clearly abound, but again, what are those hidden meanings? Hard to tell. Then by all means go for it. But if you read the book on its own terms, at least at face value, just for the story, then you've got a fun story. You've got a nice little book going on here. And so I think that's a reasonable approach as a first approach. And I think that many people won't be able to help themselves. They'll want to dig a little bit more deeply into the puzzle that are these emblematic images and the interesting typography, excuse me. So I was just showing you the kind of updated English translation there. All the illustrations are the original illustrations and they're all in the right place. But yes, you can see this is kind of a modern typeface, whereas the Latin is clearly a facsimile. So this is kind of significant because if the placement of certain letters matters, as it very often did in coded texts, then here we have the original material, right? You would be able to work out anything that anyone has ever been able to work out from these texts based on this version, and they look so nice both together on the shelf. I've been showing you. Let's talk a little bit about the format, right? I mean, I've been stretching my arm over there and showing you this paperback edition. Although you can see that the paperback edition itself is Smith sewn, and it's got this kind of French fold on the cover. It looks really nice. It feels really nice. Let me just change over to my macro lens over here, my fancy new macro lens, so that I can show you the texture of the cover. And you can see it's just really, really nice. It feels great. And it's clearly sturdy, and the paper itself is really lovely cream colored paper that we're kind of used to by now from Black Letter Press. So that's really, really lovely as usual. Let me just show you what these two look like on the shelf, and then I'll move over to the hardcovers. You can see how they've marked out the number 1 and number 2. It's very, very very subtle. I really like that. Slightly different on the hard covers that I promise you I will show you in a few moments. Nothing on the backs, nothing on the inside of the French fold. But this paperback is indeed the first edition, right? The first edition, just a slightly more affordable version of these books, which cannot be bought separately, by the way. They come as a pair, and of course I'll leave links down in the description. Now, if there are any still available on the website, because after all, this was a Kickstarter that happened, was it a couple of years ago already? This was the star of the show, of course, right? The standard hardcover limited edition, or first edition. And yeah, let me just show you how that part 1 and part 2 are handled over here. So it's done rather with little stars. There we go. We can just about see the little stars there, 1 and 2. Yeah, and I'll just go back to a normal lens here. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm going to show you the texture of these covers, so you can see that it's kind of a textured paper. I think we've grown used to this imitlin. Sorry about the weird colouring on that's happening on the picture, but yeah, I think it's the white balance simply that's kind of compensating. But yeah, it's exactly the same kind of texture of the cover that we have seen on other books from Black Letter Press. There we go. Now let's take a look at the hardcovers. So the hardcovers, as you can see, they're a step up, even from the gorgeous paperbacks, right? They are a step up. We've got these kind of gold head and tail bands, and we've got this gold ribbon, which is very lovely. Very lovely. Can I zoom in maybe? There we go. That's what we'll do. I can't get it out. There we are. I'll just show you the end of the ribbon over here, which is cut nice and straight, which is good. And what else can I tell you? Oh yes, the end papers, which are lovely. So these are, it's obviously it's real marbled paper, but it's not. It's a copy of real marbled paper, right? So you're not getting actually dipped paper on a book at this price point, of course, naturally. But it's this print does quite a good job, I think, of imitating the real thing, and it certainly looks very pretty on the book itself. But you can tell that it's the same thing because both of the books have got the same pattern. If I just compare these two together, you'll see that it's the same pattern on both sides, right? So clearly. But I had to check, which is really a credit to how lovely this actually is. And it's actually a different one altogether on the back. Clearly made at the same time, but nevertheless a different pattern. So that was very cool. And yeah, it's up to Black Letter Press's usual standards of quality. I honestly think that this is probably the ultimate Hypnerotomachia Poliphili on the market right now. I would be very surprised if there were a nicer version that has been published in recent times, right? So yeah, this is really cool. And as I say, that little introduction by Paul Summers Young, who's clearly enjoyed translating the text. It's worth digging into. It's worth getting his perspective on the whole thing. Certain points to look out for, but yeah, for me the joy is in these illustrations, and I think that these are really nice vessels for this this very curious, very mysterious comedy story, comedic story. There are a couple of cards that came with the hardcover version. I think that these may have been Kickstarter exclusives, but since these books are Kickstarter exclusives and they were just selling off the few that they didn't have addresses for and that kind of thing, or maybe they made just a few extra. You can see that, out of 700 copies, I managed to purchase copy number 686. So we're definitely getting very close to the end here. If the rest have not been purchased by now, then you're very, very lucky indeed. So go and check it out immediately. But yes, these are the little cards that came with the books, and they are just little reproductions of some of the illustrations and some of the text in this case from the original, right? Yeah, very cool. The elephant, which is apparently a major theme in the book. And then, this kind of emblematic image. There we go, and they're all just little postcards. It's a nice thick cardstock on there. Maybe. Anyway, there we are. That's about it, folks. So yes, I'm so sorry that I can't tell you much more. Ultimately, I can tell you that it's about a guy going through dreams who may or may not find love in those dreams. That's all I can really tell you at this point. Who knows? Maybe when I retire, I'll have time to really dig very, very deeply into this. I did read, as I've mentioned previously, I did read The Rule of Four, which was a novel that was based on the idea of a guy going slightly mad, trying to understand what was going on in these books, but or in this book precisely. But I read that a long time ago, basically when it was released about 20 years ago, and so sorry. I don't remember very much about it at all. Might be worth revisiting. But there we go, folks. That is the Hypnerotomachia Poliphili. A final look at the cover over here and at the spine, which is just really, really beautiful. I'm really, really impressed. Oh, I didn't show you this. How could I forget to show you this embossed picture of the vessel? It comes from the book, of course. It's one of the emblems, one of the pictures. But it's really lovely the way they've embossed that onto the back. It looks very cool indeed. Splendid work. Really, really beautiful job from Black Letter Press. As always, there we go, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up, hit the like button if you did enjoy the video. And subscribe if you haven't done so already, and consider supporting the channel. I really appreciate everyone who does. There's a Patreon which you can subscribe to and help me to get more books like this. Just a big thank you to everyone who does support the channel, and a big thank you to Black Letter Press for sending these paperbacks along with my order of the hardcovers. Really appreciate that, so that I was able to show everyone what both of the versions look like. There we are. Thanks again, folks. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. See you very soon with another video. Bye-bye.